In front of me is a Lego set that many fans have been waiting for a long time. That's right, this is the Schloss Neuschwanstein, the idyllic castle located in Bavaria, Germany. Now, this is definitely a set that architecture fans are going to enjoy based on the reactions I've seen. But what about castle fans, or what about other fans of Lego who are more casual or are skeptical about micro-scale builds? Well, this independent review, we are going to discuss all of that and determine just who exactly is this set for. If you've seen one Icons box, you've seen them all. The box for this set has the set displayed in its autumnal decor on the front with a soft orange glow as if a Balrog was about to emerge from behind it. The back of the box has the summer foliage displayed along with the Balrog glow, along with some pictures of the completed set and the actual castle along the right-hand side of that box. Now, this is where also Lego shows you that you can swap out the trees to change seasons. Inside the box are 23 numbered bags and a paper sleeve containing one instruction manual. The instructions provide details about the castle, both at the beginning of the manual and sprinkled within the pages. One minor critique that I have is that they only give you this one manual, and it does prevent you from having, I think, a nice family building experience. They could have split this into two because of the way this set is built on different sections, so that would have been nice. Speaking of the building experience, it was more fun than I thought it would be. I was expecting a lot of tiny pieces that were hard to fit together, a lot of repetitive builds, but in reality it was rather fun. There wasn't a lot of the repetition except for the trees at the end, which only took about 5 minutes, and there were plenty of, bulkier sections to this set using bricks and modified bricks and things like that. So it wasn't nearly the doomsday that I thought it might be, which is really, really good. The build starts with the base, where you build up some internal supports and stack lots and lots of slopes on top of one another. However, you don't build the entire base first. You get some castle sections interspersed throughout the early to mid stages of the build before wrapping up with multiple sections of the castle. If you watched our videos before, you know that we've stated many times that modern Lego classics require plenty of snot building techniques, angles, and nice parts usage. Fortunately, this set checks off all of those boxes. One of my favorite parts of the build was this light blade walkway that winds its way from the back to the front entrance of the castle. Now, to achieve some of the angles used, you use some hinges, but you also connect it to a jumper plate so that the section is secured to the set. This is something I saw once before, I think, when the Galaxy Explorer, and it was a lot of fun watching all of that walkway come together. There are a number of other angular components to the build, such as the buttresses used around the castle exterior. Many of these used 1x1 round bricks sandwiched around the 1x1 by 2/3 rounded snot bricks. The roundedness of these pieces are critical for achieving those angles. Two other angled sections that stood out to me include this little wing of the castle that uses bars with a stud to create the angle, and then there's this entire back section that uses some hinges and wedge plates to set the angle and jumper plates to help secure this section down and make it stable. The end result is a wonderful effect that nicely depicts the actual castle. There are plenty of snot techniques in the set, including the buttresses that I mentioned earlier, some of the architectural detailing at the top of one of the foremost towers, and the roofline by the main entrance. My two favorite instances of snot work are on this wall that faces the courtyard and the wedge plates used for supports along the back. For the former, it's interesting that the entire space is not filled up. There's a slight gap, the width of a bracket, on each side of the printed windows. I didn't think that I would like how this would look in the end, but I don't think it's a distraction from the final product. As for nice parts usage, the forks take the cake, if you will, as they represent chimneys, which the instructions tell me are elaborately styled to echo the romantic and Gothic architecture that maintain the fairy tale silhouette of the castle. Another nice case of nice parts usage is the use of mineral pieces for the grotto, which is a nice interior detail included in this set. And then there are also these Technic gear pieces that are used for tower lookouts. All told, there are a lot of nice small building details in this set. and I thought it was a pretty fun build. Now, would I rank it as high of a building experience as I would for my favorite minifig scale sets like the Lionites Castle or the Medieval Blacksmith or Ninjago City? Probably not, but this is, I think, a superior build to the large microscale Hogwarts that came out many years ago, which is one of my main experiences with microscale sets. So much more fun than that, and a quality build overall. As for the pieces, well, let's start with the 237 printed window elements. No, I didn't actually count them or even add them up. Lego says it in the instructions. They are very pleased with themselves for this. And there is this 1x8 tile with Neuschwanstein Castle printed on it. Now, there are different types of these printed windows. You've got 1x1 half round tiles in white and tan that have 2 windows, the same type of piece in dark tan with 1 window print. You have 2x2 round with 2 windows in tan, 2x2 round with 1 and 3 windows in white, and 1x2 bricks with 1 and 3 windows. If you like slopes, you will love this set. There are 34 in dark blay, 118 in black, 125 in dark tan, and 183 in olive green. There are also these 4x1 slopes in black, appearing for the 3rd time in a set, and in white for the 4th time. You get this 3-pronged flower stem piece in dark green for the 3rd time, 1x2 masonry bricks in dark red for the 2nd time, the 1x2 modified plate with a clip on the end in green for the 4th time, triangle tiles in olive green for the 2nd time, and angled 1x2 tan tiles for the 3rd time. Now, I could be missing some of the unique pieces in here, but this is overall a pretty solid parts pack. Again, I wouldn't call it elite because it does lack a lot of regular bricks, but it does have plenty of modified bricks and, as I mentioned, tons of slopes. So there's a lot of versatility with some of the pieces in this set. So depending on what you like to build in your own time, this might be anywhere from a very good to a superior parts pack for your collection. The finished product is a beautiful 18-inch long, 12-inch high replica of an iconic castle. There are so many cool details both outside and inside the castle that speak to a high degree of execution for this set. There are some small side entrances built into the exterior, this 4-deep arched main entrance, the crisp dark tan brick that provides contrast with the predominantly white remainder of the building, the tiled courtyard, various slopes that are built into the foundation, a little passageway along the main walkway, and headlight bricks placed on their sides to represent even more windows. There is a bit of interior detail as well. As you can see when you remove the back section of the castle, and in this section you can see the grotto with a swan sculpture, and above that is the Singer's Hall, which apparently was never actually used for banquets or musical performances in real life. The back windows represent a 2-story balcony that overlooks the Alps, and above that is the Grand Throne Hall, which has a number of gold pieces to make it look luxurious. The entire model is just gorgeous. The foliage on the castle grounds doesn't feel too much or too little. The angles are subtle but noticeable, and the size isn't too big for display, yet is very substantial. That said, I do find 3 flaws with this set overall. The first is the final attachment to the set, which is this tower that is held in place with a 4-length bar. It's very floppy. While the tower didn't fall off while I transported the set, it is by far the least stable part of the set. Also, you have to remove one of its buttresses in order to take off the back of the building and access the interior or show it off. It's perhaps a slight design flaw, but when you try to remove just one of the buttresses, sometimes the whole tower can crumble. The second flaw is the blay olive green dark tan combination for the rocks. I know that Lego wants there to be color variation, but I'm a big fan of using dark blay for rocks. Now, dark tan is another solid choice, and I don't mind the combination of those two, but a tri-colored base is not my favorite choice. The more serious flaw, though, is with the printed windows. Now, I don't mind that they are printed. The 1x2 and 2x2 round bricks are fine, but the tiles pop out from the snot and headlight bricks to which they are attached. I can understand why some people would find this off-putting. It just doesn't look right, especially for anyone who is OCD about all of their tiles being placed perfectly in line with one another. It's a challenge getting all of those tiles placed just right, so much so that I stopped trying part way through. This problem really does stand out along the back section of the building, where there's a mix of tiles that jut out and smoothly printed window bricks. To me, it's not a huge deal breaker, but it is something that you can notice close up, even if you don't notice it from far away. The last note I will make for the final product is that Lego does give us the option of using the green foliage versus the autumn foliage. And personally, I prefer the autumn, which is why I've got them on here right now. But we do have pictures to show you of the green foliage on the trees. This is a strong offering from Lego, and certainly a great choice for the architecture theme. One thing that I'm trying to figure out though, is this an elite set? And I think it a little bit depends on what your style of Lego building is. If you like micro scale sets, this set is probably going to be very much to your liking and could be elite for you. I think it's definitely in the ballpark of the microscale Hogwarts that recently came out. Of course, the Titanic, the Colosseum, and some of those other large sets that are really, really well done. The Notre Dame, for instance, which I'll mention in just a moment. If you are not a fan of microscale, I think there are some really positive elements to the set that would make it appealing to you. I think it was a fun build. The building techniques are interesting. I learned a couple of different things that I could incorporate into my own builds, and the end result is a very, very nice looking display that is recognizable and one that is not going to be overbearing in terms of the amount of space that it takes up on a shelf or an end table. Now, I don't think for those of you that are not microscale fans that this is an elite set. And that's where I find myself with this. In saying that, I want to ask the question, could it be better? And I think the answer is yes. There are some places where there could be some improvements. The tiles that jut out are a little bit of a problem, and that may or may not be the set designer's choice. But there are some other elements that I wish could be improved, although I will acknowledge that those are highly subjective, right? For instance, I mentioned the tri-colored rockwork. That's something that I'm not a huge fan of, but some of you, and maybe more of you, like that than I do with this. The other thing that could go better in its favor, honestly, is the price. This is a $280 Lego set, which when you look at the price per piece ratio is not terrible. After all, it's $280, and according to the box, you are getting 3,455 pieces. But I will note that you could actually get the Notre Dame Cathedral for $50 less and get 1,000 more pieces. So that's a little bit questionable. And I understand that for the Notre Dame, there's a lot of repetition in terms of the pieces that are being used in that set, so that might lower that cost. But clearly, this set probably is priced a little bit higher than you might want it to be. But at the same time, I don't think $280 is a travesty for a price for this particular set. And so if you wanted to go out and get it on day one or the first month that it's out, since I guess we're past day one, but it wouldn't be something that I'd be like, don't do that. I would though recommend that you wait for a gift with purchase that fits your preferences, right? It could be one of the Christmas giveaways. It could be something else that comes out in the fall or even next year. I think that you might be able to find this on sale at some point in the next year plus, maybe for Black Friday 2026, maybe Insiders Day in July of 2026. So it's worth waiting for if you want to see that price decrease by roughly 10 to 20%. At a 20% discount, I definitely think it's a really, really solid value. But at the full price, I think it really depends on whether you're a huge fan of micro scale sets. All told, I give this set an 8.5 out of 10 because some of the flaws that I noted earlier. I don't quite put it up in the elite of the elite sets, but I do think this is fairly close to that and could be elite for those of you who are micro scale fans. So that is our independent review of the Schloss Neuschwanstein. I hope you learned something about the set and it helps you make a decision as to whether or not you are going to buy it. Thanks for watching, and always remember to keep building together.